Welcome everyone to a special episode of Chaotic Sports. I don't know if it's special. We used to just do shows whenever we could. Only recently have we been on a schedule, but now we posted yesterday's show, or actually
the weekly show, or whatever.
The weekly show that comes out Thursday mornings. But we wanted to make sure we got something out there for the NBA draft, which happened yesterday. Really no big surprises for me. In as far as what I watch, I'm not a huge college guy, as the thousands and thousands of listeners know. I watch the NCAA tournament, and of course I follow the draft because of dynasty basketball reasons, etc. Right? But we wanted to get something out. Get Angelo to do the top three winners in the draft, the top three winning teams in the draft this year. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about the losers of the draft too, just a little bit. But before we get into that nitty gritty, when you watch the draft, man, there are two things really popped out to me about the draft this year.
They did something new, something different?
No, just the way maybe human beings are evolved. This is only going to be a little bit about sports. This is going to be about humanity.
Everybody's looking down on their phone?
No.
Okay.
But I think it's because they look down on their phone that they're more mature, believe it or not. Because gone are the days of stumbling, being weird. All of these young men, the oldest one was 23.
The guy they got about an interview?
In the interview, yeah. The guy that got drafted for the Suns is the oldest guy, Cam. Right? What's his name? Cam something? The Suns drafted him, and everyone.
Not Cam Reddish.
No, never mind. But all of these
Cameron
guys,
Johnson.
All of these guys are. They're just so well spoken. Every one of them. It's like.
So you noticed that watching them, you're like this guy, and then the next interview, you're like.
I mean, if you throw back to like 1999 or something draft, or earlier than that, it's like a bunch of 18-year-olds like in this crazy situation. Heart pumping. Now, I want to talk about something else, too, about the emotions and stuff, which are always big. But despite all those emotions and stuff, these young men are very well-spoken. And I think it's because of social media. You are automatically more aware of what's going on. You can't help but know what's happening in the world with social media to some extent. You know that there's something going on. Even if you don't read the whole article, you know there's something going on with Iran.
Okay, well, it's social media, but I'm going to say it's also money.
Coaching.
Money. No, yeah, coaching. Back in the day, 15, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, the whole agent, get your name out there, like endorsements. Not that it wasn't there, but these days they're telling the kids, hey, act a certain way, you got to talk right.
And the reason is social media.
Yeah.
Social media sort of made that adjustment. Yeah. You can't be doing dick pics at an 18-year-old if you're about to get drafted in the now, that's not a bad thing. That's like dumb kids are doing that. But if you're going to be a big smart, or you're going to be not a big smart, if you're going to be a professional, you're going to mess your money up for sure. Yeah. So you can't act like a little wackaloo.
You could do something a little dumb, and you're still going to play in the NBA, but you're going to mess up your endorsements. If you do something really dumb, you're going to mess up everything.
Or you don't mess anything up. You just got to deal with that social media. Because now that you're famous and you say something stupid on social media, now you deal with that embarrassment even more. So I think that these kids, I think that in general, this is one of those, everyone wants to blame social media for being bad. In general, I think kids are smarter. I think this group of kids are really smart, really held themselves well.
Kids, babies?
I mean, I'm saying kid, dude, we're like
but
late 30s. These kids are like 19 and 20. I can call them kids.
But you're talking
kids.
I'm talking like you think children these days are smarter too.
I think they are, dude.
Computers, tablets.
I think they are, dude. I think they are. They're not, nowadays kids aren't learning. They're not learning to hand. Why would you ever learn to handwrite? Why would you learn handwriting? Just learn to print and then learn to fucking code. That's what kids should be doing now, So I think that they are smart, and I think that these kids, even going to college first, even the one and done, the ones that are one and done, they get that practice, that new practice that you need. You can't only be a good player. You have to now be like a citizen of media now.
Well, if you're on it, you got to be good. I don't think you need to be on it.
I think you do.
I don't think how many.
I think you.
I'm never on social media, but
you're always on social media under Chaotic Sports.
Well, just Chaotic Sports, but besides that, I've never seen much stuff of Zion, and Zion's the biggest name out there. So, like, if you're good enough, you don't have to do anything. If you're in the middle, you might have to get your name out there.
Yeah, but his name is out there, and it gets traded in social media. He's transcended it. That's fine.
Through social media and also through sports.
I mean, I've never understood the big deal about social media. There's extremes, like where those kids were looking at Instagram while they were losing.
Yeah.
I forget what college that was. So there are extremes, but then everyone talks about that for freaking 3 weeks or whatever. And then no one goes, hey, maybe social media is sort of good. You like see what's happening in the world. You adjust yourself publicly because now you start acting like you should in front of adults because you're going to get castigated on social media if you do something stupid or if you say something dumb.
There's a guy who blew up because of social media, but he still, in my opinion, he still would have been a huge draft pick. But you're
draft for sure because it's a meritocracy.
Huh?
It's a meritocracy. So draft for sure. If he's the best player, that's who going to get it. They're not looking
I'm talking
to
about another player.
Oh,
I'm not talking about the number 1 draft pick. But he blew up because something went viral, and then people just started like watching, and then his name just got out there and out there.
Who?
John Morant. Because the reason he blew up.
Yeah, but he had a great tournament too.
No, I'm talking before that.
Oh,
he became popular months before that because social media, but it was because his crazy dunks.
Yeah.
He was just jamming on people, and people were like tweeting, and then all of a sudden,
if you do something newsworthy, social media will blow it up.
But back then it was like that just would have been Sports Center top 10, and he still.
And you and I would have seen it.
Yeah, but I mean, he still would have blew up.
No, not the same way in the sports world.
Yeah.
So that was one thing I saw, that kids just seem smarter in general. They seem more, and that might be because coaching, and that might just be because people know that they're going to be on social media or everything that they say is going to be shared on social media. So you got to make sure they can talk like that. The second thing is, and this is to me always the best part of drafts, is like you get really the most raw moment of emotion of feeling like you made it, because these are again kids, and I said they spoke well, but there's such pure emotion when they get to that point where it's official, you're in the NBA now.
But at least you see their emotion, though. You see how,
and it's raw because there's no money involved.
I try to tell you that about college, though. That's some of the good stuff about college.
Yeah,
you get the heart, the emotion. Like But
the problem is, in college, they're still all playing to get to the NBA.
Yeah,
all do. Even the guy that's going to be an air conditioner salesperson, trying to get to the NBA.
Some of the players on the team aren't playing to get to the NBA. They're like, no, they're not going to be in there.
They know they're not going to be there, but they're not joking around.
Yeah, they're still hard.
Playing. They're still hoping that they're going to be in the professional Israel league.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So that's the most raw moment you can have, because these kids, a lot of them haven't even lived alone. The most alone they lived was in the dorms. Right? They're still dependent on their mom and dad.
Some guys crying, right, with their dads.
All of them. Yeah, all of them thanking their parents, hard work, that kind of thing. And you just. And they're in front of that camera.
And I forget who I saw. I'm trying to look like whoever it was, but it might have been RJ Barrett. It was him or another guy, but they were interviewing him and his dad. I don't know if you saw that. I just saw
almost everyone was him and his dad. Okay. Yeah. There was one where is RJ Barrett very religious? Or
he must. Morant? I don't think he is.
Or Morant, because there was one where it was.
Not religious.
He's not religious.
You know what? John Morant's.
It is John. It was John Morant.
Yeah.
And his dad came up. His dad's a preacher.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know what I mean? And so they talked, and it was like all about hard work and being who you are and stuff like that. So for me, those are like the soft things I took that people are coming out, and that's not to say that some of these guys that speak well aren't gonna day in day out have issues in the NBA or act like young kids. You know what I mean? But they're a lot better than they were.
Contract, right?
People forget. Yeah, well, they can get lost in the money. Yeah. You can easily get lost in the money. And some of those kids really just need you. They better hope that they have a solid vet there to at least set them straight. Show up. The main thing is to show up. That's how you get the money, is by showing up.
Show up and getting better.
Well, getting better is how you get more money.
Yeah, because sometimes they think they're good enough, and they just years go by, and then you just dwindle away, or you practice hard and you get better.
Work hard.
You work out and whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's, even though I think we're going to call the, I forgot his name. Where is it?
Cameron Johnson?
Yeah, even though I think we're going to call Cameron Johnson one of the poorer picks, I think that's probably what the Suns were looking for, is that he's 23, which is old for a draft. And
so they went on
and they just know he wasn't supposed to go that high.
Yeah.
And they just know that, hey, that's a hardworking kid.
Well,
I think
a
he had
lot
some
of
injuries too. He had and he had like a bunch of injuries too. I think he's older than Devin Booker.
Well, probably.
I think I just heard that the other day.
A couple of the other draft picks are young guys, like 20, 21.
No, the draft picks are all young, but he's 23.
Yeah.
So he's going to be older than some of the rookies. He's older than Devin Booker, I think.
And like 3 or 4 other players, because they drafted high last year and like the year before, and those guys are like 20, 21.
Yeah, so that to me is interesting. I think a lot of people were surprised by that. And the other player that got drafted from North Carolina, Kobe White, was being interviewed, and as he was done being interviewed, they go, "How do you feel about Cameron Johnson just getting drafted right now, number 11th?" And he goes, because Cameron Johnson's supposed to go like 30 or 40.
His teammate?
Yeah, he goes, Cameron? He got so excited for him. He was so happy. Well, he was being interviewed. He had just been drafted. Kobe White was drafted 7th.
Oh, so he was like, didn't hear the interview. Didn't hear the draft call or something.
Yeah, he was like in
the back room or something.
No, yeah, he was in the back room. He was behind the press conference.
Okay, that's
right?
awesome. That's cool.
So then so it's 4 picks later. He goes, "How do you feel about Cam draft?" He goes, Cameron was drafted, and he was so happy for him. He was so excited.
So
no one works harder than that guy.
So Cameron was number 11.
Yeah.
So I'm sure when you're a player, you know the team's talking to you. Like, you know the ones that are really interested.
Yeah.
So you have some kind of... Like, Zion didn't think he was going to go for 15th.
Well, Zion knew. The first 3 knew.
Yeah, certain players. So, like, I'm sure that guy, Johnson, probably thought he was going to be, like, maybe 18 or 20, 22, like, late in the round. So 11's a big jump. So probably Kobe White, that was like 10 spots ahead of where he thought he was going to go.
Oh yeah, at least 10. It's funny that you say though that you're talking to the team and blah blah blah, because I think, who was it? Talon Horton Tucker in the 2nd round from Iowa State. Oh man, there's a Laker though that they go, no, the Lakers didn't work me out at all, and that Laker is just, he's represented by the same representation, the same agent as AD and LeBron.
So the Lakers got Talon Horton Tucker from Iowa State.
Yeah, I don't know if it was him, but there was a guy they drafted that they go, no, they didn't even look at. They didn't even talk to me, but it just turns out there's
that was their only draft.
Same agent. Oh yeah, so it must have been him. So his agent is the same agent as AD and LeBron is last I heard. And he goes, nope, the Lakers didn't even talk to me.
So that's a surprise of surprises,
I guess.
Plus, it's like, hey, you don't even think that, and then like, hey, now you're playing with LeBron and Anthony Davis.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna. Well, who knows with that roster? That's gonna be something we get to talk about throughout the year. Anyway, let's get to your 3 winners. So I don't even want to say that they're necessarily your winners. These are just 3 teams that stuck out to you that did a good job. Let's talk about why, and let's talk about what you saw of them in college. And why you think that, and why you think that that's going to translate to the NBA. Because as we've seen, I mean, half the Minnesota Timberwolves team was great in college and it didn't work out so well.
A lot of players. So first team I like was the Grizzlies. This is in no order.
It doesn't have to be in order.
But so the Memphis Grizzlies. First off, I love the Ja Morant. And just because of him, they drafted another player, but just because Ja Morant,
Morant was enough.
So Morant's like that small guard, he's only like 6'3", 200 pounds, whatever. He's like a great passer, but he's like the most athletic guy in the draft, probably, I think. Even more than Zion. I mean, Morant's just unbelievable. If you ever see some of his games, his videos. So I think
dunks.
He could shoot, pass, but just the way he gets up, he could just jam on people. And I think that transfers to the NBA, especially now. So we're playing fast. We're running. We're jumping.
So they also got Brandon Clark, power forward. Yeah.
So he's a big guy. Clark's like 6'8". So they got. I mean, basically, they're going to add him, a big guy. Everybody's 6'8" these days, by the way. I feel like every player I look at,
there's
6'8", 6'8".
A lot of guards are 6'8".
Yeah, so a lot of guys are big, but just solely on. And I'm not even talking Brandon Clark, even though he was a good player in college. He's your typical Gonzaga guy. Like he could pass, he could shoot a little bit, just like the Hachimura guy.
So you made a good, you made an interesting statement that you can explain here in the text world. You made an interesting statement that said John Morant's the best player in this draft. Now, some people have that take, but I don't see it. I mean, I would still rather, and this is endorsement money and ticket money aside. Player, body, player, who's going to be the best player. I don't see saying that John Morant's going to be a better player than.
You just think he's too small or something.
It's not John Morant. It's not what John Morant is. It's what Zion is.
Okay,
like he's like where LeBron is like a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
And can move around. Zion is like sort of similar to that. He can be all over the court, just a little bit faster, even.
Yeah, Zion's crazy with his.
There's little weight issues.
He blew up on that internet thing too, as far as his videos.
Oh yeah, because the way he was playing,
from like in high school. And
stuff. Dunks, and then just. I mean, the other thing with Zion too is that when you have that sort of athletic, natural skill and the size. The other thing, too, is that he's not a guy that, like, sits back and relies on it. He's, like, a hard worker, too.
Yeah. Zion blew up because R.J. Barrett was rated higher and more popular.
Yeah.
Like, out of high school, going to college, everybody was talking about R.J. Barrett.
Yeah, and he's no slouch.
And Zion was just like, oh, yeah, he's good. I liked Zion back then because I saw some of his dunks and some of his plays, and I'm like, this guy is freaking insane.
Yeah.
Lefty, just jamming on people. He's big.
And he surprised everyone those, like, let's say, first 10 games that he turned out to be the real star of Duke.
Yeah, exactly.
But he was. So do you want to explain that, or do you just mean a different kind of athletic? What made you say John Morant is the best player in the draft?
Well, I just think, like, just pure athleticism, and I think he has a lot of the intangibles, the heart, the hard play, yeah. Just like some of the stuff you can't see. So I'm looking like in the future. I just think now, not to say I would draft him ahead of Zion, but I'm just saying like if I was the Grizzlies, I'd be really happy that I got him number 2.
No, that's respectable. So you go, if I can't have Zion, I didn't lose.
I got like a number 1 pick almost.
Yeah, you don't feel like you lost because you ended up with John Morant. You go, okay, I didn't get the first pick, but John Morant is like a good. It's like you missed out the vacation to the Bahamas. But you still got a vacation to like Las Vegas or something, you know.
And I told you about this. Also that video that I saw on John Morant like a week ago.
Yeah,
it wasn't a 30-30, but you remember what I told you?
Yeah, that it was like a 30 for 30.
Well, yeah, some kind of show. But I thought that was interesting because it was like he's been underrated his whole life.
Yeah,
he's the small guy. He played with Zion, I think, on AAU ball.
They're from the same state.
Yeah, same state. So I think they played on some club teams.
Yeah.
So of course everybody was looking at Zion and all these other players like at some of the camps.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was, but John Morant couldn't play like. Maybe some of the top players were in this game, and John Morant was just out of it or whatever it was. He was at the gym, playing next door in the other, just shooting and just playing.
Yeah,
and everybody else is all over in the other gym, right? So the assistant coach of Murray State, by this time Morant had no college offers.
Yeah,
and the assistant coach of Murray State was getting a bag of chips. This is real. Said from the coach said this.
Yeah,
he was like. I was just going to the bathroom getting some chips or whatever, and he walked by the gym window, and he saw Morant playing, and immediately called his boss, called the head coach, and said, "Hey, come look at this guy." And then they gave him a scholarship right away.
And gave him the scholarship. So that's an awesome story. And what's even better about that story is it's not like you were discovered and that was cool, because then he went and actually succeeded at Murray State in college.
Yeah.
He was, all the way to the fact that he became a number 2 guy.
Yeah.
So him above R.J. Barrett was big too, because R.J. Barrett was supposed to be the number 1 pre-season, pre-NCAA season. He was number 1. Yeah.
Yep.
And not to say that R.J. Barrett sucks either. You know what I mean? He had a great year also. So.
No, and then he was third, right? Third pick.
Yeah.
So it's like. And he's going to the Knicks. I'm sure he's happy.
I mean, he might be in the best situation.
Yeah, sometimes like you don't have that. You can't say, "Hey, I was a number 1 pick," but you could say I was a lottery pick. You could say I was playing on the Knicks in Madison Square Garden.
That's
cool.
what people really want when the lottery was happening.
Yeah,
people were like, when it was coming down to the Lakers and the Knicks, that was a big deal because that was Zion going to a big market.
Nobody cares about the number 1 pick anyway. Do you care about it? I don't care about it. Like if you're like ask Michael Jordan. Like, do you have to be the number 1 pick? Nobody even remembers that. Nobody's like, oh, he wasn't the number 1 pick.
Well,
like a lot of players, it's how you play.
Yeah, Michael Jordan was the R.J. Barrett in this.
That's what I'm saying.
Sam Bowie was number 2.
Yeah, how many?
And then number 1 was Olajuwon. So it's not like the Rockets messed up. And that year,
it's cool for like right now. Hey, I was the number 1 pick, but nothing matters. Like the years later, it doesn't.
You need to pick the right guy. In fact, sometimes having the number 1 pick is bad because let's say that the general manager of the Pelicans didn't believe in Zion. He thought like the worst thing that you think about it, he's going to gain too much weight. But your number 1 pick, you can't not choose him. No, it's almost a weird pressure, you know.
And then like Zion, like you're going to give him a good nutritionist, right? You're going to like train good. He should be able to cut down to like 275, 270.
That's too much. That's too much for basketball.
No, he's 285 right now.
Yeah, he's got to be.
You know that, right?
Yeah, he's got to be.
So what is he? Maybe he can drop 20 pounds. So it'd be like 265.
It's an 82-game season, man. At least.
That's what I've said. That's the one thing that concerns me.
Yeah,
he has big. Like great athleticism for a big guy.
What is he? 19.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's the one. That's my one thing.
He's gonna look like
you see
Sean
his weight,
Kemp.
You're like, dang. And that's somebody mentioned that about Sean Kemp.
Yeah,
because Sean Kemp had a great career. He was like an all-star.
But it was later in his career he got big.
Yeah, he got
with
big.
his alcoholism.
And he would have played another 3-4 years maybe, if he didn't have weight problems, right?
Yeah. Well, the alcoholism too didn't help.
Having like 20 kids.
Yeah. Okay. Who's your next winning team?
All right. So we went over the Grizzlies. Now I like the Hawks.
Okay.
The Hawks selected DeAndre Hunter out of Virginia. They traded up to get him, so he went number 4. He's like known as
that Pelicans pick that the Pelicans got from the Lakers.
Yeah. So Hunter is known as one of the best defenders. He probably is the best defender in college basketball.
Yeah.
So that's good for your team, right? You bring in like the best college defender in the league.
I'm sorry for interrupting you. Anthony Davis is 254. He's big.
But he's also taller, too.
He's taller, but that's still 254. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, Shaq was like 300 pounds.
Yeah, Shaq's the difference. There's no one going to be like Shaq again. There's no one going to be like LeBron again.
And you know, Shaq moved like Zion when he was in college. Almost, basically. Shaq could move when he was younger.
Yeah, LeBron's 250, dude.
Yeah, some of
these players. Big. He's big. What's his name is big, man.
Just 290, 285. He needs to drop like 20 pounds, 25 pounds at least.
I mean, and that'll happen because the NBA season's a lot tougher. It's 82 games. You're traveling. Yeah, it's harder.
You just get a really good chef, right? Nutrition.
Yeah, you're also now year round with NBA level working at. Yeah, but it's gonna be tough, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, but I think he can do it.
Okay, go ahead.
20 solid pounds.
Back to the Hawks.
So the Hawks. So they got Hunter. I think that was a great pick, one of the better picks probably. And then they got a Dookie Pukey. So now Cam Reddish. So basically, here's what I said about 6'8" guys. They're both 6'8". Apparently, they're probably 6'7".
Yeah, that happens.
Too. So basically, the Hawks went for 2 bigs, and they're 2 really good. Like Cam Reddish is known as a shooter. Reddish is like a really good player. He can do everything. So Hunter is like the defender. Cam Reddish is like a shooter, and they're both 6'8" big guys. So those are 2. Add with Trae Young. You got some. I think Hawks have got a good team right there.
Small forward. I mean, it'll take a few years. You think, or it's not?
Immediately they're going to be.
Oh, you think immediately?
Immediately they're in the playoffs. It's the East.
Well, I don't know. Well, that's
what were they like the 9th seed this year?
I don't know what
they have to just go up one spot. It's immediate.
Well, in the playoffs,
I guarantee
being in the East, but being in the East in the playoffs.
Yeah, I know that's what I'm saying. But I'm telling you,
yeah.
Well, it does mean immediately because they're going to go from not making the playoffs to making the playoffs. Isn't
they
that
probably
better?
made the playoffs.
Well, barely. I mean,
didn't they make it?
Who knows? They're going to go up a seed.
Huh?
They're going to go up a seed at least with these 2 acquisitions.
I think it might take a minute.
And then Trae Young's going to be a year better.
I think. Well, that's going to be nice, but I think it might take a minute.
Well, anyway, I just think it's an immediate impact. They're going to win a few more games. It's going to put them up a seed or 2. Trae Young's really good, too. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, I'll tell you that later. That's a whole other story.
Cam, and then Bruno Fernando. I don't know shit about Bruno Fernando or anything about Bruno Fernando.
So that was one of their other picks. But
that was a later pick, yeah.
So they got 3 guys. I just like Cam Reddish and Hunter. Yeah, I like those picks.
Made a trade, and then that was one that actually worked out for the Pelicans. Although I'd have liked to see DeAndre Hunter on the Pelicans along with Zion and stuff if they're just going to build it. But I posted it on Twitter. The Pelicans actually came out ahead too. So the Hawks get DeAndre Hunter, and then the Pelicans. They still what they turned their trade into. I think I put it on our little personal text thing.
You talking about how they got like first rounders and stuff?
Yeah. So Anthony Davis turned into, and this includes some of the picks from the Hawks, turned into Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart. In 2019, they got an 8th, 17th, and 35th pick. In 2021, they get the 21st pick if top 8.
So they're going
in 2022. A pick if not. Oh, then they get the 22nd pick if not. They swap in 23. They swap with LA. Okay, they just got a lot of shit.
By 23, none of that matters because by 23, we're gonna know if Zion's a real deal or not, and all these other players are or not, right? Or none of it's
but all of that too is just currency. They're not necessarily going to use those picks. They're going to trade it for something else. They're going to put that with another.
It'd be like Ingram. Lonzo's like whatever. I mean, your best player that you got was Ingram. And then now you have Zion and whatever, you know.
Yeah, and whatever else.
And they have a good point guard already.
Drew Holiday.
So you got Drew Holiday. Yeah. You got Zion.
I thought they were going to go Culliver before they traded it. I thought they were going to go Culliver, and then they traded the pick. So.
Oh, so you thought they were going to go two. I thought
they were going to get 2 guards. Yeah. Anyway, what's your next team?
All right, so my next team is just one pick that I just liked a lot. I don't even know what their other pick is. We'll look in a second, but I like how Denver got Bol.
Oh, you like Bol?
Yeah, I mean, I know the league's a little different these days. Bol is 7'3".
Yeah,
I mean it's just like crazy, but
that's your personal pick.
It's just like Bol was a supposedly like top 15 pick like a year ago, like maybe lottery. He dropped all the way. Denver got him in like the late 2nd round. Yeah. So as far as like a good pick, a good late pick, I think Denver got a good pick. You just
like Bol.
No, I mean it's a good.
So one of your winners is the 44th pick, is because of the 44th pick, and you don't even know who else Denver got.
They didn't get anybody else probably. I think that's their only draft pick. But
are you serious? It's their only draft pick?
I mean, yeah, a winner. What about the Nets? Is a winner? They didn't even get a draft pick. They didn't even draft, and the Nets won. You know why, right? Because they're saving their money and their cash trading away. Yeah. So it's like you don't have to have a pick to have a good pick. But I just think Denver, with one pick, is a good draft. Because I think Bol at that spot, 40-something pick, is a good pick. I think Bol is better than people think. Give him some time. He's a big guy. And I don't know. That's basically my one other thing that I liked. Was one other thing I wrote is Portland. Now I don't even know another one of their picks, but I like Nassar Little. He was really popular out of he could have been like a top 10 pick or something if he would have left like out of high school last year.
If he could have left it.
If he could have, yeah.
So what happened if it didn't work out in college?
Well, I mean, he played decent in college. But what I'm saying is he would have been maybe a lottery pick last year, and now Portland got him like late. You know, so
why'd he fall?
No, I mean Zion, John Morant. There's just other players just blew up bigger than him.
Well, what did he get taken? Where did he get drafted?
Exact spot.
Yeah.
I think late in the or early 2nd round. No, it was late 1st round. 25th pick.
25th pick. So 24 other players are picked ahead of him now.
24. I mean,
why'd he drop that much?
I have no idea.
So you think that's that he's a keeper? You like him?
I like him. I for that pick. I mean, 25th pick, a guy that maybe could have been like top 10
out of high school.
Yeah. I mean, he still played good.
Okay. Hey, we just wanted to go 3 winners. Now, these aren't necessarily like A grades or we got like deep and watched thousands of hours of tape, but just Angelo's 3 winners or three things that stuck out to him.
I'm surprised Bol doesn't stick out to you.
It stuck out to me.
He's 7'3". He doesn't stick out to you?
It would stick out to me for sure, but I'm just surprised that that's what you chose as a winner.
I just like the pick.
Good. I like it. I like it that you like it.
42nd pick.
You can find us at Chaotic Sports on Twitter, at Chaotic Sports Media on Instagram, where I'm going to start posting a lot more there, and at Chris Sard is my personal account. And you guys have a great day.